All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, July 1st. We got ourselves a new month here and just 3 games on today's MLB slate. But like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games, so all 3. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays, like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment for all of my final plays. If you do want to roll with me or if you want to fade me, all those plays, when I'm actually betting myself, will be in the pinned comment. We have a recap of June and season to date here because it is the first of the month. We do this every first of the month here, and let's see what we got. So on the season, we're up 22.13 units, which we will definitely take. We're only hitting at a 54.91%, but nonetheless, we're still hitting a bunch of underdog plays and plus money plays and stuff like that, right? When I say underdog, not the app, I mean plus money plays. So 22.13 units up on the season. I'd love to tinker and get that percentage up a little bit, but profit is profit. I shouldn't be focused on the percentage. In the month of June, we picked up 8.1 units, and honestly, the last 3 days of the month, or last 2 days of the month, I should say, we dropped a couple, so it actually could have been a better month. Let's hope to start off July better than we ended June with 2 straight losing days, but I'll take it. Started this in, March, right, or end of March, so we had April, May, then June. 3 months in, we're picking up just under 10 units a month. If we can keep that going, we're going to have a season in the MLB like we had in the NBA. And if you know, you know, we had a good NBA season. So let's go ahead and jump into this small NBA slate. Like I said, it's a very, very small slate. But real quick, right before we do, guys, I do want to shout out BetMGM. If you have not signed up for MGM yet, you are missing out on one of the better sportsbooks, and I would say more underrated sportsbooks out there. And they have a great deal going on right now for first-time depositors and first-time bettors. You get up to $1,500 paid back in multiple bonus bets if your first bet does not cash. So go ahead and check it out. You guys know my spiel with them if you've been watching. My favorite thing that they do is they crush all of the other main books out there with their same-game parlay odds. Why would you not go to the book that has the best odds? I'm not saying every single play you throw in over there is going to have better odds than FD or DK, but their same game parlay odds absolutely blow those two out of the water. So go ahead and check it out. I'll have a link in the pinned comment. There's also a link in the description. Go sign up for MGM. It's a very, very underrated sports book. I've been loving this one, and I love the comments when we talk about it. People are like, yeah, MGM's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's up there for me as well. Go check it out. That link is in the pinned comment. Go get this first-time deposit deal. I don't know how much longer that is going to last. But nonetheless, go ahead and jump into the first game here. Make sure you hit that like button. I was going to say that LeBri button. Don't even know what that means. Hit that LeBri button. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get going here. We're starting it off with Toronto taking on Houston. On the mound for Toronto is going to be Yariel Rodriguez, who honestly has not looked all that great. Now, he only has, a 2.2 ERA in his last 5, but his last 3 starts, he has not looked very good whatsoever, and he's got a 5.9 ERA on the season. At home, he struggled as well, and he's going up against a Houston team today that 5th best average against righties in the last 30 days, 6th best WRC+, OPS 6, ISO 6, slugging 6, and let's not forget that they just took down one of, if not definitely the hottest team in the league in a series. The Astros took 2 of 3 against the Mets, so this is definitely a tough spot for Rodriguez. My one concern is Hunter Brown is on the mound for Houston, and to me, he's been pitching so well, but we know Hunter Brown. Like, when is the next shoe gonna drop? I don't necessarily think it's going to be against Toronto here. Now, you could say, hey, look at Toronto, their offense looked okay in 2 of those games against the Yankees, but still, they dropped 2 of 3 against the Yankees team that wasn't really playing their best ball, right? Or I guess they split the series 2-2, right? But they had 2 good offensive nights there. That was against, what was it, Cortez, and then I forget the other pitcher for the Yankees in game 1. But overall, I just don't necessarily trust this Toronto offense to be the team that takes down Hunter Brown. If anything, Hunter Brown's going to take himself down. But in this spot, I'm going to lean towards Houston on the money line. I wouldn't be opposed to taking them in the first 5 either. That way we're kind of isolating Yariel Rodriguez here. But one thing I will say about Hunter Brown is that in 19 plate appearances against a super small sample size against players on this current roster, 167 batting average against, an expected WOBA of 215, an expected batting average here of 151. So he actually does have some good numbers, but that's only in, again, 19 plate appearances against current guys on this team. But it's definitely a feather in Hunter Brown's cap. So overall, guys, like I said, I'm going to lean towards the Astros. I'm not sure if it's going to be a full game or a first 5 play kind of isolating Rodriguez versus Brown, but Houston definitely does have a slight bullpen advantage. Toronto's bullpen isn't all that taxed. They had a bunch of guys go yesterday, but those guys hadn't really pitched the day before, whereas Houston's bullpen is super, super taxed. So that's kind of where the idea of potentially going first 5, just give me Brown versus Yariel Rodriguez in this spot. I also don't mind Hunter Brown. It's pretty juiced play at minus 160, but looking at his under 5.5 hits allowed, that's definitely a lot of hits. And you know what? He's hit the under here in 4 of his last 5 games. The only one that he hit the over was against the White Sox, which was kind of crazy, but you know, that's a bad offense, so obviously that's more of an outlier game. But are we really going to put too much weight into Hunter Brown? I'm not necessarily sure. In terms of a game total here, I'll lean towards the under. I don't think the Blue Jays do much damage. I'm kind of, singing that song the entire breakdown here. I think the Astros could put up, 4 or 5 runs. So if they score 5, and I think they're going to win, this could be a 5-4 game, which would be a push. But I'm almost thinking that this is a 5-3 type of a game or something on the line there. But if I really wanted to get kind of, I guess, if I wanted to tinker with it, maybe we look at Toronto's team total under or their first 5 team total under. That way we don't have to worry about Houston scoring a bunch of runs, right? That might be a spot in which we go to. But keep an eye on the pinned comment. Very, very small slate. We've had a couple cold days. When I say cold, we went 2-3 2 days in a row, so it's not terrible. But overall, we do want to make sure that we're not, going crazy on a 3-game slate. It's a long season. Our strategies have been going pretty damn well so far, I would say, based on the season and month recap. So 3-game slate, we don't have to act like it's 15 games and throw like 10 plays down, right? So be conservative today. If you don't love something, fade it. The one thing I love in this game is probably going to be Houston first 5 money line, but again, we'll see. All right, next game up, we do have a few, I think I have like 3 player props that I'm liking here, and obviously we'll go through the side and the total. So a decent amount of plays potentially in this game, but it kind of counters exactly what I just said about being conservative. So these are all things that I like. Not going to be betting all of these because it's 1 out of 3 games here, and I'm not throwing 5 plays down in one game, right? But we have Washington taking on the Mets. Right now, it's essentially close to a pick 'em, minus 105 on DK for the Nats for the money line, and then the Mets minus 106. And you're probably thinking the Mets, one of the hottest teams in the league. Yes, they dropped 2 of 3 against another one of the hottest teams in the league, the Astros. Why is it such a close game? And I could sum it up with 2 names. Well, a first and a last name. David Peterson on the mound for the Mets has definitely been struggling this season, though he is coming off of, I guess, his best start, one of his best starts of the season against the Yankees. Mackenzie Gore's on the mound for Washington, who you could say is coming off of a rough start against San Diego. So I do think that this is another spot for the Mets offense to kind of excel. This is a very good offense. They're hitting lefties really well in the last 30 days. Mackenzie Gore is a lefty here. His stats against the Mets in the past have not been all that great. 71 plate appearance against the current guys on this roster, and I hope that makes sense. When I say against guys on the current roster, it's not like Mackenzie Gore against the Mets in his last 71 plate appearances against. It's against the players there. Like if a guy played for the Red Sox and Mackenzie Gore pitched against him last year, and now all of a sudden he's on the Mets, that counts towards players on the current roster. But anyways, 71 plate appearances against, only a 12.7 K rate, terrible. Average against 300, an expected batting average against of 275, and an xWOBA of 380. So not all that great. I will say David Peterson's numbers pretty much mirror that for his, past plate appearances against guys in the current Washington roster. But that said, this is a better Mets offense than a Washington offense. So that's kind of where I find, I guess, the gap in that breakdown and that spot of it. So I do think that there's an offensive edge here. The pitching edge, I don't necessarily want to say that Peterson is in a better spot than the Nationals, but just because of where the Nationals rank in terms of against left-handed pitching, I would say that, there's an offensive edge for sure for the Mets, and it's such a big offensive edge that I do think that Mackenzie Gore's numbers are going to come down a little bit, and they don't have much room to come down. He hasn't been pitching well as of late. One last thing to kind of knock Mackenzie Gore, which you can probably tell I'm leaning Mets here, right? He's going to throw 67% fastballs. The Mets, 5th best in the league this season season when it comes to runs above average per 100 fastballs thrown. So I do think that that's another little knock on what we're seeing from Gore. So give me the Mets on the money line here. You're getting some decent odds. I do believe that. They have most of their guys in the lineup today as well, so I don't really mind that. I will say that Mackenzie Gore really struggles against lefties here, so you have some guys, that are going to be, or I think they only have Mets only have 2 guys in the lineup, but that struggling against lefties kind of pulls us right into a player prop. Looking at Brandon Nimmo here, or Nimmo, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Also could consider as over 1.5 bases. You're obviously going to get better odds for that. That's an alternate line for like plus, I don't even know, it's a big time line. I think it's like plus 140, something like that. But hits, runs, and RBIs seems like it could be the move. He bats lefties better than he does righties, and we know Mackenzie Gore struggles against left-handed batters. So that's a player prop I like. Staying in the player prop field, I also think the same thing of Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas either over 1.5 bases or 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He bats .322 against left-handed pitchers here. Now David Peterson does throw to right-handed batters a little bit better than he does lefties, but nonetheless, he's going to throw sinker and fastball, 2 of the better pitches that Lane Thomas hits. And then the last one here, you're going to get some nice value over on Caesars right now, -140 for under 6.5 strikeouts for Mackenzie Gore. That on other sportsbooks is -154 on FanDuel, -175 on DK, -175 on MGM. So you have 30 cents pretty much of value there taking the under. Last 3 starts against this Mets team, 3 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts. That last one being this season. So Mackenzie Gore under in strikeouts could easily be a play that we roll with as well. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. I just gave you, 5 or 6 plays. Probably only end up rolling with 1 of those or 2 of those at most in this game. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but again, 3-game slate. We don't have to blow our load too quickly. Pause. All right, I guess that's a good time to take a pause after saying that, guys. I did want to shout out Outlier here, my favorite player prop research tool. You could see that's where we're getting these numbers for the player props. For example, Brandon Nimmo, right? You could see what he's done in his last 10, his last 5, last 20, head-to-head, 2024, so this season, last year as well. You can even scroll down and see his numbers against the pitcher, 273 average, on-base percentage 333. This is where I said he bats lefties better than he does righties, and the fact that Mackenzie Gore, who I clicked on by accident there, let's get back to Brandon Nimmo, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, right? You could see that he hits, and by the way, you can see how easy that is, but 300 batting average against left-handed batters, and when I go fastball, boom, his WOBA jumps up, cutter, WOBA jumps up, slider, WOBA jumps down, but again, you're getting pretty much 70% of his pitches with these 2, so I like this spot. You can even break it down to a level of where does he throw the fastball, where does he throw the curve, and all that type of stuff, guys, but really, it is cool. I am filtered onto this game right now. As you can see, all the player props that are available in the odds range that I gave here, and you can see all of these plays and say, hey, you know what, this one looks pretty interesting to me. Joey Meneses, let's dig into it and go through, right? I like this app really, and honestly, I like looking at this. This might even be one that we add, so let's throw this in so we don't forget about it. But overall, guys, go ahead and check out Outlier. They also have it for game breakdowns, so you can kind of see where the public money is. You can even dive in and see, okay, if we're going to look at Houston on the money line, you can see how they've done recently, how they've done when they're home/away with the starting pitcher on the mound, all that good stuff, guys. I'll have a link in the pinned comment. You're going to get 7 days of a free trial. Go check it out. This is only $19.99 after that free trial, so it's not even like a gotcha moment where 7 days free trial and then all of a sudden you're paying like $200 a month. No, $20 a month. You're probably spending that $19.99 a little bit worse out there anyway. So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link, again, is in the pinned comment. Go ahead and check out Outlier. All right, Colorado taking on Milwaukee in Colorado. That's obviously a good thing to note here. What I will say about this is that Milwaukee is obviously the better team, but I don't know if the pitching is necessarily a huge discrepancy here. Now, they have the better bullpen, but Bryce Wilson on the mound for Milwaukee going up against Austin Gomber. Now, I'm not a fan of Austin Gomber. You guys know that if you've been watching, but Bryce Wilson, like, they're running out of room on the box score to be able to put his earned runs as of late. It's pretty much running parallel and mirrored to Austin Gomber here. So I think you have 2 bad pitchers overall. And Milwaukee is -158, or at least in the -150s. A little bit too much of a price tag, but you look at Colorado and it's like only +130. Like, Colorado definitely, in my opinion, the worst team. I mean, they just lost, 2 of 3 against the White Sox, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. Like, Milwaukee's definitely the better team, but I don't think for that price. So I probably end up saying this is like a Milwaukee first 5 run line or pass for me, but it's got to come from Milwaukee's offense because Bryce Wilson is not a guy I necessarily want to back here. So maybe that's the move overall, but I do think taking a peek at an over in this spot, it's listed as 11 here, but I've actually seen it some 10.5s and even 10s on the board. So we'll keep an eye on that and get that. I just think both these pitchers are pretty bad, so I wouldn't hate kind of taking a peek at that. Maybe it's something like we do, both teams score 4 runs in the same game, parlay or something like that. But again, overall, this is kind of a tough spot for either side. I do have a player prop, or actually a couple player props that I'm not minding. This is in Colorado, so keep in mind that me taking an under could be a little bit risky here, but I don't mind Brenton Doyle here under 1.5 bases. I kind of rag on Bryce Wilson, but against right-handed batters, he's got a batting average against of 195, which is pretty damn good. It's like the only redeeming quality. Left-handed hitters crush him, which is a bunch of righties in the lineup today, which is great, but I think I want to say there's like 4 lefties, 5 righties, so not even that big of a split. I kind of misspoke there, but overall, he bats the cutter fairly well, the sinker well, but then you get into the 4th and 5th pitch, curveball and fastball from Wilson, and Doyle doesn't hit those very well. So that's one player prop. The next one will be Blake Perkins. Same thing, under 1.5 bases. He hit the under 9 of his last 10 games, batting .217 against lefties here, and Austin Gomber against right-handed batters, batting average drops 20 points to .242. So that could be a spot as well. But again, it's not a recipe to take under in bases, right? 2 bad pitchers. You got 2 unders in Coors Field. Seems like we could be dancing with the devil there, but it is something that I'm definitely considering here. Now, one thing I will say is I think you're getting a really good price for it, and it does have me kind of shaking in my boots, is considering a Nerfy in this spot, just due to the fact that, both offenses with Gomber and Wilson on the mound could have trouble one time through the lineup, and AKA just 1 inning, 3 outs, and you're getting plus 140 here over on FanDuel. I think that could be a good spot considering that most books have this in the plus 115 to plus 105 range. So maybe that's a consideration. But again, am I psycho? Sound the psycho alert alarm. This is in Coors with 2 bad pitchers, and I'm looking at 2 player prop unders and the Nerfy. Kind of a lunatic move, but I could see those being plays. But guys, quick video today. Obviously, just 3 plays there. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 16. We did have the ride of the day that we have not talked about yet. I'm sure that Josh is excited about that because yet again, our ride of the day has not come through. I'm thinking that I am jinxing people here. So comment 16 if you made it this far in the video, and comment hashtag ride of the day. We'll be jumping on board with one person's pick, giving you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. We've lost 3 straight now. We got to get on the board with a dub, and I know there's a bunch of dubs getting thrown into the comments, but I'm talking about the ones that we pick. So go ahead and give me your reasoning and everything like that. I like the spot. We've been going for some plus money plays. Maybe we got to be a little bit more safe and conservative now, so maybe we'll do that today. But get those hashtag ride of the days in the comments. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.